from Ann Arbor, we have Big Ten basketball here for you on WCBN Sports. Your Michigan Wolverines coming back from a successful road trip to LA in which they beat both Southern California and UCLA by hefty margins as this young, fast-paced, high-scoring team eases into the season with potential tournament aspirations. Coming up against a struggling Washington Huskies team that hasn't quite made the most of their NIL purchases that they made earlier in the season. I'm Vihaan Easwar on First Half Play-by-Play. He's Andrew Pipta. Welcome aboard. Thank you for tuning in. Andrew, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Vihaan. This is going to be a very good game. In a lot of ways, both teams are very similar, but their seasons have been a lot different. Both are first-time head coaches at the power forward level in the Big Ten. Danny Sprinkle coming in from Utah State, and Dusty May obviously coming from Florida Atlantic, where he made a name for himself and made Florida Atlantic into a well-known basketball brand after he took that team to the Final Four of March Madness. On top of that, both teams are bringing in stars from those teams. Utah State with Danny Sprinkle bringing in Osaborn, Gray Osaborn, and then Michigan here bringing in Vlad Goldin from FAU with Danny Wolf also coming in from Yale to form a very unstoppable 7-foot duo that can do a lot of things for this basketball team. On top of that, Michigan also brought in Trey Donaldson from Auburn to form a very great core of three players. On top of that, Michigan getting Roddy Gale Jr. back. He was out on the UCLA game. And on top of that, Namarni Burnett starting again. I think this is going to be a very, very good game, but we'll see how Washington handles this fast-paced Michigan team, especially when they have struggled to get started early on in games. Their last outing against Michigan State, they only scored 14 points in the first half. And to beat this Michigan team, they are going to have to be able to compete with their speed, their aggressiveness, and we'll have to see if they can handle that.
Yeah, and real quick before we get to tip, because we are increasingly approaching that time, I'm just going to read you guys the starting lineups. Your Michigan Wolverines are putting out Trey Donaldson, Namarni Burnett, Roddy Gale Jr., Danny Wolf, and Vlad Goldin. Five double-digit points per game scorers. So this team, they move fast. If they can get to their 2 7-footers in the front court, Area 51, as they're so geniusly called them. I just want to take a moment to shout out whoever came up with that, because that is absolutely genius. And the opposing Washington Huskies are putting on Tyree Ianacho, Tyler Harris, Zoom Diallo, Gray Osaborn, and Wilhelm Breedenbach. So without further ado, we're going to take you right up to tip-off, as it looks like it's going to be Goldin and Breedenbach for the tip. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, thank you for spending our Sunday afternoon with WCBN. Let's have a good one, Any day is a great day to have a great day, especially when it's this Michigan basketball team. As Crisler Arena is rocking to the sounds of Detroit's very own Jack White and the White Stripes 7 Nation Army.
It's a sold-out crowd here. Everyone's excited for Michigan basketball being back. And I am too.
We are underway as the Wolverines win the first tip, and Goldin's going to tip that back to Donaldson, who currently in the court, currently on number 6 for the Huskies, Tyree Ianacho. Donaldson is going to play it to Gale, to Goldin inside. Playing around the arc, Gale from downtown. Gale, no good. Nice offensive rebound from Wolf. Wolf really using his size there. Wolf's going to put it into the paint to Goldin, and Goldin not quite going to get there, but he is going to draw the first foul of the game.
That was a textbook possession for Michigan there. Danny Wolf gets the offensive rebound and then immediately cuts to the top left wing of the key, and then gets a screen from Goldin. Runs a little bit of a pick and roll. This is something very unique to this Michigan team. 2 7-footers running a pick and roll because they have guard skills, and it gets Goldin to the line.
Goldin is going to make his first, and Michigan is on the board. First team on the board. As Goldin lines up to take a second. It's good! And that is going to be Michigan 2, Washington nothing. Just about 30 seconds played. as the Huskies are going to try and bring it from back. As Osobor sends it back to Diallo. Diallo, being guarded by Burnett, is going to find Iheanacho on his left. But Iheanacho found Harris, who's going to flip it to the right to Diallo. Breedenbach into the paint now. Osobor driving in. Osobor gets the bucket, as that is going to be 2-2 Huskies, but Michigan playing fast. Getting it back is Donaldson. Donaldson takes on Iheanacho. Donaldson jukes him out. Donaldson flips it back to Wolf. Wolf from downtown. Danny Wolf. Brick. As the Huskies are going to rebound, are going to send that back. As Diallo. Diallo finds Osobor. Osobor being guarded by Goldin. Osobor is going to look to drive into the paint, and it looks as though he's going to pick up a charge foul.
And that's great defense from Goldin there, being able to pick up a charging foul on this. Oh, no, never mind. It was called on Goldin, a foul, a blocking foul there.
As that is going to be an inbounding opportunity from the Huskies, but Michigan disposed of that well. As Diallo tried to get a shot off, he was no good. Now this Michigan team playing fast and loose. Wolf, good ball handling, into the paint. Wolf to Goldin to Gale. Gale with the jam! As the Wolverines are on the board.
And Vlad Goldin, and built like a traditional big, but he's able to find Roddy Gale open on the paint on a cut, and he gets the bucket.
As the Wolverines right back at it again. Huskies up by 1 at the moment. As our apologies, but we are currently figuring out our audio. As looks like this inbound attempt is going to be Roddy Gale Jr., as he currently has 1 defender on him. That's going to be number 8, Tyler Harris. Harris attempts to box out. Harris no good, as he's going to flip it way back to Donaldson, who is by the logo. Donaldson drives into the paint. Donaldson gets the bucket. That's good! As Michigan goes up 6-5. 17 minutes, 50 seconds in the first half. As Huskies right back at it, as Osobor on the edges of the paint. Osobor's going to send that back to Iheanacho. Iheanacho's on the logo. Back to Osobor. Back to Harris. Harris tries to drive in. Harris is going to commit a travel, and that's going to go back Michigan's way.
And Michigan right now, sorry, as we're fixing some stuff here.
As Michigan are going to take it right back from the logo as Donaldson. Some nice handling to juke out Iheanacho. Donaldson takes it from downtown. Donaldson, brick. But Roddy Gale picks up the rebound. Gale drives in. Gale, that's good for 2. As Michigan goes up 8-5, 3-point lead, which I believe is the Wolverines' biggest lead of the game so far. As that's going to be Diallo on Wolf. Still Diallo. Diallo unloads it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho's going to try to drive in. Iheanacho going to break that, as Michigan is going to get a chance to inbound it.
And right now, we're just seeing some classic Michigan basketball right now. Fast pace, a lot of ball movement, and getting either open looks at the net or getting 3-point shot opportunities.
Donaldson beats up Diallo. Donaldson drives in, sends it out to Wolf. Wolf drives in. Wolf to Goldin. Area 51 for the bucket. And you're going to see a lot of that. You've seen a lot of it this season. You've seen a bit of it in the game. You're going to see a lot of it today. You're going to see a lot of it until hopefully March.
Yeah, and this team is really built to go deep in March. I mean, it is a team that is very much the modern style of basketball. It is analytically driven. They are very efficient. They are top 10 in KenPom right now, and the only Big Ten team in KenPom top 10 right now.
Donaldson inbound. Goldin from downtown. Bang! As the Wolverines are going to make their first 3 of the game.
And he does not take three-pointers often, but right now he is now 5 of 7 on the season. Vlad Goldin, he can splash. You can't leave him open.
Diallo. As Diallo being grabbed by Goldin. Diallo makes his way into the paint. Diallo takes the bucket from outside. That's a nice little two-pointer for the Huskies to get them back to 11-7, but Michigan playing fast as Donaldson dumps that off to Wolf. Wolf drives in. Wolf with one hand for the layup. That's good! As Michigan is up 13-7, 16 minutes in the first half. Osabor into the paint. Osabor to Harris. Harris drives back into the paint. Harris, nice defensive rebound there by Goldin to send it back to Roddy Gale Jr., who plays a little fast, but that's going to be the Wolverines' first turnover of the game, as that's going to be picked back up by Iheanacho. Iheanacho drives into the paint. Still Iheanacho, but it's a nice tip away by Goldin. That's great defense from the Wolverines.
And Michigan's known for their offense, but, man, when you have two 7-footers, that makes a very, very hard defense to score on in the paint.
As Harris looks to Diallo. Diallo, and that was well defended by Donaldson, and that's going to force the Huskies to use their first time out of the game. As 15 minutes, 18 seconds left in the first half, so that's about 5 minutes off the clock. Michigan leads 13-7. And, Andrew, do you want to just give us your thoughts real quick on what you've seen so far?
I mean, so far it's kind of like, how do I want to say this? It's kind of a standard of both offenses. Washington scoring 40% of the points in the paint. They want to break that. They want to just get points with those big bodies that they have. Michigan, they are coming out with a fast-paced offense. They are looking to find open shots. They're creating open shots either through a pick and roll like we've seen with Area 51 or with just finding open lanes to the basket and getting into the paint. And right now, I mean, Washington, they are kind of been known to struggle early on. They aren't able to really get ahead and really keep, a fast start. But so far, they're holding their own the first couple minutes of this game.
Yeah, and for Washington's struggles, they are one of the best three-point defending teams in the country. And Michigan in the last few games, but especially against UCLA, has shown some, lethargy is not the word, but they've been a little slow to come out on the three-pointers, especially notably in the first half against UCLA, where, their three-point shooting really improved in the second half after UCLA briefly took the lead. But that is an area where, while Michigan is quite good at, they tend to be a little slow at getting in groove here. So that's something you don't want to avoid, and I think that's something you want to avoid. And I think that's a good reason why Goldin was able to get his three off soon. It gives them confidence they can make those type of shots for the entire 40 minutes that this basketball game is going to be played.
And in those minutes, you also saw the first Michigan turnover. This is a team that has really struggled with turnovers as the season has gone on. It is a fast-paced offense that's usually expected for a team. They might struggle with turnovers since they're going so fast, hustle, keep just pushing down the court. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to make a bad pass, especially when a team relies on high-difficulty passes to get guys wide open for opportunities. And this is a team coming in that has lost the turnover battle more than they've won it, and they still haven't lost a game by double digits this season. All of their losses have come in very close games. So it's something to obviously keep an eye out for, and something that Washington could win this game off of, just winning the turnover battle and just being able to get extra opportunities in transition. But we'll have to see as both teams come back onto the court.
Yeah, and the Wolverines are obviously, we've talked at length about how they play very quick basketball, and I think the turnovers are to an extent something that's just going to be par for the course. But we are back underway as Donaldson gets that off to Wolf. As Wolf on the edge of the paint, that's some good physical defense by the Huskies defender, but Wolf is going to be good. As Wolf back to the basket, turns around, gets the bucket. That's going to be 15-7 Wolverines, just under 15 minutes left.
And Danny Wolf can just score any way he wants to. There's a reason why he's getting draft buzz.
As Iheanacho goes there quickly gets some points back on the board. And just a quick change to report, we have Will Shetter, my LinkedIn connection, and Ruben Jones on the court for the Wolverines.
LinkedIn connection. Is he going to get you a job, too?
Yeah, hopefully he gets me a job because he didn't get that bucket.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was a really nice drive by him.
It was great movement, great way that he drives in, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to connect. Well defended by the Huskies, but Shetter is going to pick up 2 free throws, and let's see if he can get himself on the board.
And that was great driving. He's on the right wing. He cuts in, gets right in front of the basket, and draws the contact. That's a skill that players, great scorers, are always going to be able to drive and get that contact and either finish through it, get an and one, or get to the line and gets a couple free throw opportunities here.
Shetter's first is going to be good. Shetter's second is going to be good, as those are 2 points for him early on in his first appearance of the game.
Michigan 4 for 4 in their last 4 field goal opportunities.
Shetter, one of the longer tenure players on a program that's seen quite some turnover, as Christian King for the Huskies on the court, moving the ball well. And they've also brought on number 12, Louise Courtwright, for his first appearance, as Easwar, guarded by Shetter. Easwar makes the turn. Easwar goes down, gets the shot off, but that's well defended by Wolf and Shetter, as Wolf drives into the paint. Wolf, great drive there, but not quite. Not quite. As it's picked up, rebound is picked up by the Huskies. Courtwright, as Courtwright tries to get the shot off. That's defended by Shetter, but that looks like they're going to call that as a foul, as a defensive foul.
And you're seeing right now Washington really try and funnel this offense through Easwar in the low post. They're really trying to let him just go at it. There's a reason why he was brought in, and he was a big name in the transfer portal, and that's because he's a great scorer inside, and you're seeing Washington try and take advantage of that on Area 51.
As Mackay Mason for the Huskies tries to get a shot off at the very perimeters of the arc, just past the arc, but that's not going to be good, as the Wolverines are going to have a chance at inbounding. As for Michigan, we have now seen Sam Walters take the court, or at least not take the court. Looks like he's warmed up, ready to jump in.
And Sam Walters is another person who came in through this transfer portal. Michigan really rebuilt this team through it, as Washington's at the line. 17-19, Michigan up right now. And, this is a kind of a showing of the NIL era and the kind of beauty of the transfer portal, with how Michigan was able to rebuild from a team that really had a bad season last year to one of the best teams in the Big Ten and arguably the country.
Yeah, as Mackay Mason did make a bucket there. It's now 17-11 Wolverines. Donaldson at the logo. Shetter on Easwar. Finds Walters on his left. Walters back out to Shetter. Shetter out to Burnett. Burnett driving in. Burnett. That's good! As the Wolverines back on the board, 19-11.
Great screen by Cheddar, gets Burnett able to drive and gets the bucket. As
Christian King for the Huskies, as he's going to flip that back to Iheanacho. Iheanacho on Jones. Iheanacho being double teamed there. Iheanacho gets the shot off. That's nicely rebounded by Donaldson, as Donaldson finds Jones on his right. Dump off to Walters. Walters looked as though he was going to try and get it to Shetter. That's a bad turnover to Easwar, as Easwar drives in. Easwar in a fairly empty backcourt outside of Shetter is going to get the bucket, and that's 19-13 Huskies. As Burnett tries to get a pass off to Donaldson. It's foul, and it's deemed. Looks like there was a foul there, or as it looks as though that's going to be an inbound attempt from the Huskies.
And Easwar on that steal and fast break opportunity, he used his big body, just bullied inside.
Or no, sorry, it's an inbound attempt from the Wolverines, as Donaldson flips it way back to Gale. As Gale driving in. Gale, some nice ball handling. He's going to flip that out to Jones. Back to Gale. Gale driving in. Looking for Walters. He's going to draw a foul. As that foul is going to be called on Mackay Mason. And the Wolverines will have another opportunity to, or no, sorry, they will have an inbound opportunity. And it will be Donaldson taking the inbound. As Donaldson finds Shetter. Shetter from downtown. Shetter. Brack, and that's picked up by the Huskies. As Diallo for the Huskies. Diallo on Walters. Dump off to Osabor. Osabor driving into the paint. Osabor. That's defended by Donaldson and Shetter, but it looks as the refs are seeing that something that they don't like. Maserage doesn't like that. The Wolverines don't like that, but it looks like there's going to be a foul called there.
And Osabor, again, drawing the foul there through just using his big body, getting physical, and going after this Michigan team that is without Goldin and without Danny Wolf right now, trying to take advantage of, you know, a little bit of a mismatch in his eyes.
As that's going to be an inbound attempt by Diallo. As Diallo finds King on his right. He's going to find Osabor. Back to Diallo as court right. Finds Osabor. Osabor with the jam. Osabor's got it. And that's going to be 19-15 Huskies, who have made this game just a little closer than it was a few minutes ago. As Gale flipped to Donaldson to his left. Donaldson with some good ball handling. Donaldson drives into the paint. That's good! And that is going to be 21-15 Wolverines. Nice response there from the Osabor dunk. As Diallo finds Osabor from downtown. Osabor, bang! As Huskies are now going to make this a 3-point game. 21-18, still 21-18 Wolverines. As Wolf with some great ball handling. Wolf one-hander, and then Wolf with the jam! 23-18 Wolverines.
He's a 7-footer who can move like a guard. I mentioned it before, he's been getting draft buzz, but when you have a guy like that where you don't see a lot of players like him in the NBA, there's a reason why teams are looking at him with a little bit of intrigue.
Osabor finds court right on his right. Court right on Donaldson. Court right charges into Donaldson, and that's Donaldson does a great job of drawing contact. Looks as though he's picked up a charge foul there as we move to our second time out of the first half. Just about half of the first half done. It's 23-18 Wolverines. Andrew, give us your thoughts.
Great Osabor. He's playing great right now. 4 or 5 from the field, 1-3. He's just been, outside of that 1-3, it's been all bully ball. It's been all going at this Michigan front court and just trying to see if he can force some off balance, just playing physical. But Michigan, you know, they've made 7 of their last 9, and it's been a lot of, you know, Danny Wolf playing incredible. It's been Roddy Gale Jr., Trey Donaldson has had a night right out of the gate, and, you know, we're seeing a game that, you know, I think people came in, saw, you know, the matchup that Washington had with Michigan State and thought this was going to be a blowout. And Washington, I said it before, they have known to start slow. And right now they are keeping up with Michigan's pace, playing their own ball, their own style of ball. So it is getting really, really interesting right now. Even though Michigan, and they're shooting 64% from the field, they have missed. They are 1 for 5 from the three-point line. And like you said earlier, you know, this is a team that can sometimes struggle from that three-point arc, even though they are a team that wants to create three-point opportunities. A lot of these shots have been open, they just haven't been falling. And with a team like this Michigan team, where it is very much you live and die by the three ball, you live and die with getting inside the paint, you know, sometimes either or is going to be a little off, you know. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you make. So it's going to be it's going to be a team that we're going to see if this little bit of streakiness from the three-point line continues to be a trend in this game, and we'll even see if this could come back and bite them in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth noting the Wolverines haven't really attempted too many threes so far today. I mean, there's been a few. There was obviously, I think there was the Goldin three, which, as you noted, Goldin doesn't really shoot from there. Goldin prefers to drive in and get most of his points right from the post. So that was, a little unusual. That was something to keep an eye out for. Yeah, it's this team. They could be taking more looks at three, but you're up by 5, and that too that's playing, some rotation players. Like we've seen Walters, we've seen Reuben Jones get some minutes in this first half, which I think does make sense when you consider this is the first home game after a road stretch in a different time zone against a ranked opponent and a fairly decent, solid USC team. So I think it's with no disrespect to Washington, who have still played well, who are still a solid team, if maybe not one of the better teams in the Big Ten, a team that can certainly defend fairly well. I think that this is maybe one of those games where Michigan, could put on the court some of the guys that you're not going to see later in the season.
Kind of messing with the rotation, seeing, who has a little bit of a hot hand, who's going to get more minutes. Even you can't disrespect an opponent, but to kind of see and experiment and see what's going to work and what doesn't isn't a bad idea.
Diallo inbound to Osabor. Osabor driving into the paint. Osabor, one hand, that's good. 23-20 Huskies. 23-20 Wolverines, with the Huskies just hit the 20 mark. As Michigan with a good ball movement. Sam Walters attempts from downtown. Sam Walters, bang! 26-20 Wolverines, as Walters is going to get his first points of the game, I believe, and couldn't come in a better way.
I mean, a 3 ball like that. I mean, we said that they haven't been really shooting well from 3, but he didn't get the memo.
As Osabor handling the ball well. Osabor on Wolf. That's a clash of the number ones, and that is going to be a foul on Danny Wolf. Contact's a little light, but at the same time, I think Osabor knew what he was doing, and that's fair on him to win the foul. He's going to have a chance to shoot from the free throw line.
And he has a chance to get 13 points in the first 10 minutes of basketball here. He has been on fire as he misses his first free throw. He's been clearly above everyone else on this team. He's just on a very, very hot start, and he's really keeping Washington in this game by himself.
As Osabor is going to get a second, as we are seeing Justin Pippen, guard, I believe, on the court for the Wolverines, showing Michigan, getting some more rotational minutes in, as Reuben Jones is going to tap from downtown. Reuben Jones, break! As that rebound is going to be picked up by the Huskies. As Diallo goes around. Diallo on the right. Diallo finds court right by the logo. Back to Diallo, who's being guarded by Sam Walters. As Diallo, I believe that's going to be called for a travel.
I believe so. It looked like...
That looked like a travel,
yeah,
yes.
It did look a little bit like a travel, and this is a game where Michigan hasn't found themselves losing the turnover battle, which has been a rarity for them.
As Pippen to Wolf on the right. As that is going to be called for the Wolverines. As it's been refs not afraid to get in there and make some calls. This has been a it's been a physical game at points, and I think the officiating is reflecting that, as Michigan is going to have a chance to shoot from the free throw line. This is going to be Justin Pippen.
And right now, Washington has 7 fouls on the day right now. They have really, really been hounded in on by this Michigan team, either through, very good defensive plays, through charges, or just drawing contact like Justin Pippen did, taking that screen, taking all of that physicalness of Osabor and draws a foul there.
Yeah, as Pippen gets his first 2 points of the game, as Washington rebounding quickly. As Osabor was going to attempt a long pass over there to Tyler Harris, but the rebound's going to be picked by Namari Burnett. Burnett finds Wolf. Wolf from downtown. Wolf. Brick, as that rebound is picked up by Tyler Harris.
And Wolf, he kind of is known as a three-point shooter. He's 0 for 2 to start out, but outside of that, he's had a very good game for Michigan.
As Courtright for the Huskies. Courtright's going to attempt that from downtown. Bang for the Huskies, as that is going to be 28-24 Wolverines, but Washington have consistently kept this close. As, you know, Wolf was going to attempt to pass to Burnett. Burnett couldn't quite get a handle on it. That went out to Pippen. Pippen, with a good shot from downtown, just bounces off the rim.
And you saw there on that last Washington bucket, again, Easwar, the offense is running through him. He's drawing a lot of attention from this Michigan defense. He's able to kick it out, find someone at the top of the key, easy three-point opportunity, and it falls for Washington. And it has been running this offense through Easwar, through the low post, through just letting him go to work and getting his teammates involved too on that pass. This is what has kept Washington in this game, and looks like Washington is going to get some free throw opportunities as well, which would also make sense because Michigan themselves too have 7 personal fouls on the day. It really feels like this game is just going to be who's going to out-physical each other after the start of this first half.
Absolutely, as we are 20-24, 8 minutes, 24 seconds left in the first half. The Wolverines, again, moving the ball well, as they've tended to do. Not too many looks from outside the arc, which maybe that's something that they want to work on, whereas Washington, consistently playing a physical game. All the offense is flowing through great. Easwar was having one of his better games for the Huskies since he was cajoled by the promises of NIL money in the transfer portal this past offseason. As the Wolverines are going to spotlight Oscar Goodman, who is a 2025 basketball commit for the Wolverines.
And one thing about, that we've seen with this Michigan team right now is that they're doing really well in recruiting. You know, when you bring in a Dusty May, who's a big coaching name, you're going to get that attention. And now that he's been a phenomenal talent developer, and when you get him into a big program like Michigan, a very well-known program, that's going to draw a lot of attention and a lot of interest, and we've seen that. And with his expanded resources, we've seen him go after some big talent. Biggest name so far being Trey McKinley. He was a 5-star prospect. He had 3 names on 3 big teams, Georgetown, USC, and Michigan, on his radar, and he decided to come to the University of Michigan. So it's going to be exciting the next couple of years to see what this team is going to do, not only in the recruiting rankings, but also in the transfer portal at the end of the season.
As looks as though Michigan should be getting ready to move out of this timeout. Both teams should be getting ready to move out of this timeout soon. Both teams about level in terms of fouls, 7 fouls to 7, and also 4 turnovers each. It's been a solid game from ball security Michigan-wise, but there's still been some of those slip-ups that you've seen a lot at points this season.
Yeah, you've seen when, this team is driving, they're running at the high pace, you see them stumble a little bit, lose control of the ball. You've seen them be able to save it, find open shots still, but you've also seen the turnovers that have become a Achilles heel for a team that otherwise would be almost unstoppable.
As Washington back at the free throw line, as was called right before we moved to timeout, as it is going to be, yes, Tyler Harris stepping up to take the first free throw. As Harris' attempt is no good, and that's going to be quickly picked back up by the Wolverines as Burnett sends it to Donaldson. As Donaldson flips it out to Burnett. To Wolf driving into the paint. Wolf is going to pick up the foul. As Wolf, no, sorry. I don't know what I was saying. It was Goldin. As Goldin is going to draw the foul. Goldin using his height and his physicality to pick that up. He's going to have a chance to shoot some free throws. And it's been It's been a quiet half for him so far as the Wolverines seem to be load managing their stars. It's worth noting that Wolf and Goldin are both not on. Wolf is not on the court, whereas Goldin is at the moment. Goldin is going to have a chance to add to his tally.
And Goldin, when you look at him and his build, you really see a guy who you'd expect to just not have that ball handling abilities that he does, but you saw it. He was at the top left wing. He gets the ball, drives to the hoop right in front of it, picks up the foul because it is hard to stop a big guy like him without fouling. And he gets to the line right now. He's made his first, and he's going to try and get his second right here.
As that's unfortunately going to be no good, as that score is going to say 29-24 Wolverines. Goldin with a quiet 6 points, but still joint highest score on the team for this half in what's been at points a more defensive game, as Iheanacho is going to attempt that from downtown. That's no good, but there's some good ball movement from the Huskies as Easwar picked that up, flipped it aside to Diallo, and Diallo gets the layup to make it 29-26 Wolverines. As Donaldson out to Gale. Gale driving into the paint. Gale, not quite there on the layup, but going to be some contact drawn as the Wolverines kind of trying to figure out the way to play this game. You know, they've anticipated this is physical. They're playing against a good defensive team, and the way to do that, way to beat a good defensive team is to lure them into committing fouls.
And that's what they've done, and that's what they've had to do. Coming into this game, you know, a lot of offensive metrics that this Huskies team has not been very high in offensive metrics, but they have been the number 7 team when it comes to limiting pointers. They are coming in allowing only 28% from 3, and their KenPom efficiency on the defense, at least, is really high, number 69 in the nation.
As Gale got 2 free throw attempts and made both of them, it is 31-26 Wolverines. As the Huskies back on the ball with Diallo flipping it into Harris. Harris from just outside the paint. That's going to be no good. As a nice one-handed pickup by Goldin to send it back. As Burnett seemed like he lost control of it for a second, managed to regain it. As Burnett drives in. Burnett into the paint. Burnett, that's good! As the Wolverines, some nice ball handling there to get that bucket. It's 33-26 Wolverines. Just under 7 minutes left in the first half. As Diallo finds Harris. As that's going to be no good as the Wolverines. Another nice rebound there. Another good pickup by Gale. And Gale's going to drive all the way down again. Gale's going to be good! And that's going to be 35-26 Wolverines. And they're finally opening up a bit of a hole here. I think this is the biggest lead that they've had. That was some great ball movement there. I think Gale just sort of took the initiative. Gale played a bit of hero ball there. Some could say that maybe it was a bit of a risk given the Wolverines' issues with turnovers and fast breaks, but Gale trusts his instincts. Gale takes it all the way down, and Gale gets 2 buckets there.
And, you know, we talk about Michigan where they're taking a lot of risk, like you said. And, you know, there's sometimes where it doesn't work. You know, the turnover differential has been a struggle. But when it works, you see why they try these very aggressive plays, because right now Michigan is kind of pulling away right now. They are on a 6-0 run over the last minute, which, you know, that's been fast, but that's what this team's trying to do. And Washington, you know, their scoring has kind of slowed down a little bit. You know, Easwar hasn't taken a shot in a quick minute. It's been, on top of that, when, you know, a lot of the supporting cast has been struggling. Outside of him, the only person who has over 50% shooting right now is Diallo, and he's 2 for 3. He's only had 2 buckets this entire game. And, you know, we're starting to see, you know, some of the struggles that Washington has dealt with, you know, the last couple games.
As Diallo flips it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho back to Diallo to Harris. Still on the outside. Wolverines boxing out the Huskies as Iheanacho going to drive it in himself to find Easwar. Easwar finds Iheanacho, who finds Harris from downtown. Harris, bang! As Goldin for the Wolverines flipping it to Gale on the rebound. As Donaldson. To Gale. To Wolf. To Burnett. To Burnett. Gonna attempt it from downtown. Burnett. Bang! As that's 3 for the Wolverines. It's 38-29.
And
9-point lead reopened.
And they respawn that Washington three-pointer with a three-pointer of their own.
As Washington going to take it back, but that's going to be a quick pickup by Donaldson to Walters, to Burnett on the right side of the arc. As Burnett going to lose it. Ball's going to go down as Easwar falls on it, recovers, sends it to court right, as Harris sends it to Harris. Is going to attempt it from downtown again. No good, as Burnett is going to, Gale is going to get his 4th rebound of the game. Gale is going to try and force a pass through to Burnett, who had pretty much nothing in front of him, but that ball is going to be slightly overplayed. It's going to be Huskies' ball.
And right now we're seeing a lot of terrific ball movement. Michigan on their three-point opportunity involves a lot of passing the ball. In Washington, I really wanted to point this out. Easwar gets it, passes a little bit of a fake to draw a defender, gets it to the corner, easy three-point opportunity there. And we're seeing, a little bit of fast-paced basketball from both teams.
As Diallo gets a nice shot off. That's going to dance on the edges of the rim, but it's going to be picked back up by Donaldson, who had some nice interplay with Burnett there. As Donaldson on the right side of the arc. As Donaldson drives into the paint. Donaldson on Diallo. Donaldson not quite there on the pickup as Shetter tries to go for it, but it looks like that's going to get called for the Huskies. Although you could have made the argument that the Wolverines should have gotten some free throws out of it, and I think the Maze Rage certainly agrees with that argument, as explained by as that chorus of boos that followed that exchange explains. Is now Harris offloads it to Iannacho, to Easwar. Easwar on the edge of the paint. This is Easwar. To Diallo. As Diallo drives in, Diallo into a stacked paint, finds Easwar. Easwar does well to get the shot off, and that is going to be a bucket for the Huskies. As it's 38-31 Wolverines.
And it looks like Easwar's
as Donaldson going to try and take that from downtown. It's no good. Huskies pick up the rebound as Harris quickly on the fast break. Harris on Reuben Jones, who's back in the game for the Wolverines. As Harris flips it right to Diallo on the logo, being guarded by Gale. As Diallo drives in the paint. Diallo charges in. Diallo. Good ball handling there as he managed to draw a foul to the consternation of the entirety of Crisler, who roars in irritation. As that's going to go to timeout, and when we come out of timeout, it looks like the Huskies are going to have some free throws.
I mean, especially after that no call on Trey Donaldson, you saw him wincing in pain. He looked like he took some contact to the head. After a no call like that, to see Diallo, who's a very good driver, he's a very good inside scorer. He likes to go fast, get to the bucket, and try and make a layup or draw some contact like he did. When you see that, you're not going to be happy. But you really have seen this is a game where the refs have been involved a lot. And I get that both teams are playing very scrappy. They're playing very physical. And both teams have struggled to defend that, especially for Michigan, when Goldin or Danny Wolf are off the court, you see Easwar, he's really trying to hunt after Will Cheddar. I think he sees a mismatch. I know for sure if you're Washington, when you're talking in meetings, you want to make that point of emphasis. When one of them or both of them are off the court, you have to go after Will Cheddar if you're Easwar. And you're seeing that right now. And Washington, they're going to get 2 free throw opportunities, possibly make this a 5-point game after, a game where they were getting blown out in the first half. They only scored 14. Now they're scoring 30, 32 maybe 33. And you're really seeing a Washington team that's just playing just really good basketball, especially after a game where even Tom Izzo of Michigan State's head coaching tree said, yeah, they could have had a little bit of jet lag. I mean, it's hard to travel across the nation, going from Washington to landing in, Michigan. Jet lag's a real thing, and it's something that a lot of people have been criticizing with these teams from the Pac-12 coming to the Big Ten. And, you know, I'm not trying to argue about, you know, all this relocation and all that, but it seemed like it definitely affected Washington against Michigan State. And with a little bit of rest, you know, a little bit of recovery, and Michigan, you know, coming back from their own road trip, you know, it's been a close game. And I think all these factors on top of, you know, some great basketball, it kind of combined to a very good game for a sold-out Michigan crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's mentioning the jet lag is interesting because that was a factor early on in this past college football season where I think a lot of the teams that made that cross-country road trip suffered for it. I mean, it could potentially account for Ohio State's loss to Oregon the first time around, Michigan and Washington. There was a fair few games where jet lag may have played a role, as the Huskies are going to shoot their first free throw, as that looked as though it was going to get off, but Vihaan Easwar managed to make his first.
And in the last 2 minutes, Michigan has not scored a bucket. They are in a little bit of a scoring drought.
As Diallo's second hits the rim is picked up by Goldin, who flips it to Gale, who's going to flip it to Donaldson by the logo. And Gale to Burnett. Burnett from downtown. Burnett, bang! As that's going to be 41-32 Huskies. The Wolverines back with a splash from their scoring drought as Burnett takes from outside, as the Huskies now patrolling the edge of the perimeter, as Iheanacho flips into Easwar, into Courtright in the paint. Courtright handling it well. Courtright has 2 men on him, but he's going to find Easwar inside. Easwar drives in, dodges some light contact. That's going to be 41-34. Huskies get 2 more on the board. As Donaldson finds Jones. Jones fills Gale Jr. from downtown, as that's going to bounce right off the rim. Quickly picked back up by Iheanacho. To Diallo. To Courtright. As Courtright drives into Easwar. As Easwar tries to go for the dunk that was well defended by the Wolverines. He's going to end up getting the points anyway. As it looks like the points aren't going to count for whatever reason, as Easwar went for the dunk the first time. That's well defended. And then he goes in and makes it with the layup.
And, you know, you saw he kind of made contact with the rim there on that opportunity, and then whatever call ended up resetting the play.
As Easwar finds Iheanacho, finds Courtright from downtown. Courtright takes on Donaldson and Wolf. As Courtright finds Diallo. Diallo right off the rim, picked up by Burnett, but Burnett's going to send that back to Harris unintentionally. As Courtright still looking for a look from downtown, but he's going to find it. He's going to flip it to Iheanacho on his right. Iheanacho back to Courtright on the logo, being defended by Burnett. Courtright into the paint. Courtright finds Easwar. Finds Diallo. Diallo from the post. Diallo makes that 41-36. Huskies make this a 5-point game. As that's a nice pass from Donaldson, and an absolute poster from Vlad Goldin, who taps into his inner Cooper flag with absolute highlight reel play.
That was a beautiful lob from Trey Donaldson right to Goldin. What a play.
As there's a quick pickup there for the Huskies, who seem to go bend for bend a little bit, as Harris is going to get a dunk of his own. It doesn't quite match up to Goldin's from pretty much a half-court lob, but, you know, it's something for the Huskies faithful, as Burnett is going to attempt another one. Splash! As Michigan with yet another play for the highlight reel. That's going to be 46-38 Wolverines.
And he has not missed a single shot this game. He is 5 for 5, 3 for 3 from the three-point arc.
As that's going to be well defended, as Goldin finds a nice pass in there, as Donaldson is good for 2. Nice little layup there. Great pass from Goldin to sort of cut the length of the court, as this is really firing up Crisler, which is as loud as it's ever been. They're on their feet, and you know, I'm getting on my feet as well.
I will too. Let's get into this.
As Iheanacho going to take it from downtown after some nice interplay from Courtright. Right off the edges as we are flipping into the final 50 seconds of the first half. And that's a quick pickup by Wolf, who seemed to be one-handing it for a little bit. Off to Jones. Off to Burnett. Burnett draws in. That's going to be, I think, an out-of-bounds call there. That's going to briefly tap up that nice bit of momentum, those energy levels ticking as high as they've been all game, as You're going to have Harris inbounding it for the Huskies.
And
As the Wolverines have opened up a double-digit lead for, I believe, the first time all game today.
And it's a fast-paced game. You know, a lot of threes have been falling. Quick plays that Trey Donaldson lobbed to Goldin. That was electric, and this crowd is really getting into it, this sold-out crowd at Crisler Center.
As Diallo being guarded by Donaldson. Now Diallo is going to beat his marker. Now he's got Diallo to clear. He's going to flip to the right to Harris. Harris not going to attempt that from downtown, as Harris is going to take a step too far and pick up a travel, as that's going to be Wolverines' ball. As Michigan going to look for one final splash to close out what's been an exciting first half here at Crisler. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with WCBN. No place I'd rather be than call, I think, a top 20 team in the nation. I think by the end of this game, I think you can make the argument they're going to be ranked in the top 20, as my good friend Adam Bressler in the comments so wisely pointed out.
And you can even make the argument that they should be a little more than 20, because they have been playing incredible basketball, especially today.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Donaldson to Walters. 3, 2, 1. Walters from downtown. No good, as that's going to be picked up by the Huskies. But obviously no time to do anything with it, and that is going to close out the first half for us here at Crisler Center. Michigan 48, Washington 38 in a first half characterized by defense and some absolute highlight reel plays from the Wolverines. I think the biggest is that absolute poster from Goldin off the pretty much a half-court lob from Donaldson. I know, talk of the town a few nights ago was Cooper Flagg's poster against Pittsburgh for the Blue Devils, but, you know, Goldin had a moment of his own there as a team. This Michigan team is increasingly becoming must-watch the same way that Duke team is.
Oh, yeah, this is one of the best offenses in the country, and you're seeing it right now. They are able to do whatever they want, you know. They were struggling early on with threes. Now they've found their groove a little bit. They can get inside the paint, and they can get to the foul line. They are 9 of 10 from the free throw line in a game that has been plagued with foul calls. And shout out Washington, though, especially great Easwar. 16 points, 7-11 shooting. He has been physical. He has attacked the paint, and he has just gotten whatever he wanted within the low post. And, you know, there was a play that I saw from him where he was able to, in the paint, he's posted up, get a little bit of move, it kind of, you know, go right in between two defenders, get a little bit of a bucket. He is just a crafty scorer. He's a big scorer. He is physical. And that's been what's kept Washington alive. You know, they're not shooting a lot of three-pointers. They are 4 of 8, though. They have attacked the paint. Even with 2 7-footers, 2 very good bigs at guarding the paint, they have gone after them. And you've seen them at least be able to hold their own, let alone even really threaten the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've seen a lot of good, you know, wide play on the wings there for the Huskies. I think you've seen Harris, who's been very dangerous from outside of the perimeter. Some great three-point shooting action, some great fast break play. I think you've also seen Easwar, obviously great at driving there into the paint. Iheanacho, Diallo. This is a solid Huskies team, and I think their positioning is more the product of what is being a pretty competitive Big Ten conference. Because obviously, I mean, and maybe we've got some slight bias there, but I think this Michigan team is a real contender to be the best team in this conference. I think obviously you've got Tom Izzo's Michigan State. You can never count that out. You've got Illinois being led by arguably the best player in the conference, one of the best players in the conference, in Kasparas Chakushionis. I hope I pronounced that right. If any of my listeners are Lithuanian American and I butchered that completely, I sorely apologize. You've got a lot of great teams. I think Ohio State can tend to make it competitive, even though they have increasingly deprioritized the sport in recent years. Oregon were ranked top 10 not long ago. Purdue consistently, Indiana. This is a good basketball conference, and I mean, as a New Jersey native, it pains me to not be able to put Rutgers in that conversation, as some people were saying in the offseason. But this is a competitive conference. I think the Big Ten and the SEC, just like they run football, they clearly run college basketball this season. With, you know, the Big East hasn't really been what it's used to be the past few years with the decline of Georgetown Villanova's programs and sort of realignment in the past few years really hurting the conference. And the ACC, again, you've got that Duke super team, which I think is a real threat to be the ones to cut down those nets in March. But apart from that, it's a conference that's pretty shallow. So I think, the Big Ten is going to put a lot of teams in this tournament, and I really do think Michigan is going to be one of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of SEC. It's going to be a lot of Big Ten. And, yeah, Washington was looking really good. Even you had fans who were like, hey, don't count us out. We're a little bit of a sleeper team. Yeah, coming in the Big Ten play, they've struggled. They've struggled a lot. But that is also, a testament to how good this conference is. And the USC team that Michigan beat just knocked down Illinois, which in a little bit of an upset. So it's just a testament to how tough this conference has become, especially with realignment. You're bringing in some really good basketball schools. It's nothing to be ashamed about if you're struggling a little bit this year, because there are going to be a lot of teams who are going to struggle. There are a lot of great teams in the SEC that are going to struggle when it comes to playing in their conference. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It just means that you're playing a very competitive conference.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, the two things to worry about for the Wolverines, I think, both in this game but in general have been a bit of recurring storylines for the season, have been, the slowness at which they approach getting their three-pointers up, as well as the turnovers. And neither of those have been a huge problem today, because obviously you've got Burnett killing it from the outside of the arc. And for the most part, the Wolverines have handled this ball fairly well. Like, ball security-wise, it's been a very solid game, one of their best in a while. And, you have to hope that maybe they don't get too complacent with a big lead, the same way they did against UCLA a few nights ago. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, in terms of ball security, it's been a good one.
Yeah, and even with their ball security issues, they've still won games, and they've still been really good. So with a game like this where they aren't turning the ball over a lot and they're really just doing what they want to do, especially if you're the Mari Burnett, who has not missed a single bucket, kind of reminds me of LJ Kaysen when I called the Toledo scrimmage. He did not miss a single shot, and he was on fire. I got to shout out him. I don't think he's going to get a lot of play this year, but he's a bucket getter. He's a baller. And Michigan has a lot of ballers. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you're not getting a lot of minutes, especially as a freshman.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're gonna go to a quick break here. After 5 minutes, you are going to have Noelle Bencie and Simon Bleier take over on the call, and they're surely going to do as good a job as the two of us have done. Andrew, it was great fun calling this game with you. Great half, great environment here at Crisler. I've been Vihaan Easwar. He's been Andrew Pipta. I'm going to leave you guys with not the final of the night, but my personal good night and go blue.
Welcome back to Crisler Center. I'm Simon Bleier, joined by Noelle Bencie, and we have a 10-point game at half with the Wolverines leading the Washington Huskies. Noelle, what did you see in this first half?
Well, you know, this is probably the most exciting game that we've seen for the Michigan Wolverines in this last couple sets. You know, Washington has come in, and not many people expected them, I think, to play the way that they have been playing, considering they're 1-4 for Big Ten play. You know, everyone kind of expected Michigan to come and wash right through them. But Washington has given them a very, very solid game, and an exciting one for the packed stadium to begin with. We saw that there was a large amount, or was a slow start for Michigan to begin with. You know, they kind of pulled back on the press. They didn't really have much movement in the beginning, but as the game went on, Michigan was both using their old school style of basketball, using both their big mans down low, while also spreading out the court and doing a 4 on the outside, 1 down low, and really faking and driving to the basket to break the defense of Washington. So that puts Michigan at 48, above 10 points above Washington, 38, and an exciting second half to continue.
Yeah, I think something to note, that wide open three-pointers, and we'll see if the Huskies intend to go back to that. And I mean, I think it really was, they just wanted to see if they could stop the Wolverines, but pretty much this whole season, no team has been able to stop the Wolverines' offense. So we'll see what the Huskies come out in, and we'll see if that can stop it, or if the Huskies just got to score more themselves and try to match Michigan's high-scoring offense.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the first half that Washington is using a lot of their big man down low, Easwar, but Michigan has been able to stop them, being that they have incredible ability to press down low in their help defense. You know, there's no man is left unguarded, regardless if they're playing man or if they're in zone. And Michigan has had not a difficult time, but definitely has had a little bit of pressure, considering that 40% or before this game, 40% of Washington's points were scored down low through Easwar, and using the men down low to draw the attention to the paint, leaving the guys on the perimeter wide open. So we probably will see more of that, considering Michigan's big men are probably getting tired at this point. They've been rotating Goldin, they've been rotating Wolf, Cheddar down low, so we're going to see how they continue to change the rotation and display the dynamic players that they have on their team.
Yeah, and something to note, Easwar for Washington has 16 points, leading the way for them, and that's kind of where we saw Michigan switch to a zone themselves, and they had some success at the end of the half. So really just seeing what defenses these teams come out with will tell us a lot about how they're feeling and how the rest of this game will go.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. We have the start of the second half going on right now. So thank you all for joining us today. This is WCBN Sports. My name is Noelle Bencie, and we're going to have a very, very exciting call with you guys.
Can't wait. It's going to be Michigan inbounding the ball in a short time here. Michigan up 10 on the Huskies. A packed, sold-out Crisler Center. The loudest we've heard all season here.
No, it really does make a difference when the crowd is just absolutely electric and the student section is packed and everybody is here to watch this Big Ten matchup.
Ball is inbound to Donaldson. Iheanacho on him. Over to Burnett, left wing. Burnett, Goldin. Goldin, top of the key, kicks it back out to Wolf. Wolf on Easwar, tries to make a move, crosses over, spins back, and throws it out of bounds. A little bit of a miscommunication there with Roddy Gale. Roddy Gale went back door, and Wolf just threw it out of bounds. Thought he was going to stay out on the perimeter, but it's going to be a turnover. Huskies ball. Iheanacho to bring it up. Gale on him. Pass, swing over. Right wing Diallo. Ball's inside. Iheanacho. Back to Diallo. Diallo on Wolf. A little bit of a mismatch. And the ball's tipped to the Wolverines, but it goes back to Diallo. Diallo, mid-range shot is good. 48-40. Huskies with a quick bucket there. Michigan back the other way. Burnett, left corner. Into Goldin, left block. Double comes, swung out to Burnett, and his three-pointer's good. Huskies tried the double team Once Goldin got the ball, and Burnett was wide open there for his 4th three of the game. He's shooting a perfect 6 for 6 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3. Easwar at the free throw line. On Goldin. Tries getting something. Goldin stands his ground, and it's going to be a foul on Goldin on the floor, and the crowd does not like that one.
No, Easwar was definitely trying to force something there, and obviously it came out with a foul because you could see his hesitation on the free throw line. He was holding the ball, and it seems like that foul was on the play, and they inbounds it very, very quickly to get Michigan back the ball.
Yeah, quick inbound there. Breidenbach gets the 2-pointer to go, and Wolf comes back the other way, and it's going to be a foul on Breidenbach after he scored his 2. And Wolf's going to head to the line for some free throws here.
Now, we saw in the first half that both the teams were really, really fouling each other heavy. The game was very, very scrappy. But now that we're moving on, both teams were in the bonus. So you're kind of curious to see if that physicality is going to continue at the start of the second half. And I think it has. Both teams, both their big men have already been on the ground, on the floor fighting. So we'll definitely continue to see that, I think. Yeah,
some early fouls here. And you said bonus in the first half. Bonus matters even more in the second half. As if this game becomes close, it's going to matter, each foul. As Wolf gets his first free throw to go. One more coming, 52-42. Wolverines ahead, 18:33 left in the second half. As Wolf puts up his second free throw. No good, back iron, hustle for the rebound, and it's going to go off on Breidenbach and stay Michigan ball.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we've seen is both teams have a difficult time holding on to the ball. I mean, there's been so many turnovers in the first half already, and that's because of the slapping away of the rebounds and not holding on to it with both hands.
Ball's inbounded. Wolf has it, top of the key, hand off to Burnett. Burnett comes striking down the lane, passes it down to Gale. Gale gets big in the paint and gets the and one.
Yeah, that was Gale coming in. He has 10 points in this game already. He's definitely a powerhouse for this team and is getting those really just under the basket dirty buckets.
Yeah, Burnett and Gale in double figures for the Wolverine. The only other person is Easwar on the Huskies as Gale shoots his free throw to convert this and one. It's up and it's good, nothing but net. Wolverines go up 13, 8:20 left in the second half. Diallo to bring it up. Gale on him. Over to Easwar. Easwar hands it off Iheanacho. Iheanacho down the right side. Has Wolf on him. Brings it out. Still Iheanacho. Passes it to Diallo. Swung corner Easwar. Makes a move on Goldin. Splits across the lane. Loses the ball, but it falls to Iheanacho. Iheanacho down low to Breidenbach. And Breidenbach throws up a layup and is fouled and will head to the line for 2 free throws.
Now, we saw in that last play with Michigan on defense that they were playing very, very heavy man coverage. And I think that kind of allowed Washington to move the ball quickly and catch these guys off their feet, which Michigan definitely does play well when both their big men are just kind of planted in the paint. But obviously switching around the defense is very important when trying to switch up the offense.
First free throw was good, and second one also good for Breidenbach as the Huskies cut the lead down to 11. Donaldson to bring it up. Iheanacho on him. To Wolf, right wing. Jab step, cuts across the front of the lane. Into Goldin, right block. Throws up a little hook over Breidenbach and gets it to go. Goldin just using his size on the slightly shorter Breidenbach and is able to get that over the top for 2. It's Harris over to Iheanacho. Iheanacho takes a screen from Easwar. Goes through the lane. Breidenbach wide open right corner is good. 3-point shot, good for the Huskies as they cut it down to 10. Quickly back the other way is Wolf on the left block. Wolf across, little hook shot, no good. As the Huskies come back the other way with Zoom Diallo. Gale playing great defense on him. Easwar, hard screen on Gale. Gale tips the pass into Easwar, but it goes back to Diallo. Has a little hustle for the ball, and Diallo throws it out. Michigan ball, turnover for Washington.
Yeah, Michigan switched up their defense there into a zone, and I think that's kind of got Washington kind of switched up on their feet. So Michigan has the ball starting.
Wolf with the ball, right wing. Breidenbach sags off of him, decides not to shoot. Ball inside to Goldin, and Goldin is fouled going up. More free throws for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Goldin's been playing an incredible game today. I mean, we've seen him with a dunk in the first half, with several block shots. He's dynamic from the free throw line. So hopefully we see him catching just a couple more here in the second half.
Yeah, and I take that back. That was actually on the floor, so the ball is going to be inbounded. It's back to Goldin. He works, trying to get anything, kicks it out to Wolf. Wolf, top of the key, back to Goldin. Goldin falls. Looked to be a little tangling of the legs. No foul there, as Harris is back the other way for the Huskies. Doesn't get the floater to go. Hustle for the rebound. It's going to be a foul off the ball by Harris on Wolf, as they're both trying to get that ball.
Yeah, that fast break with Washington, definitely I wouldn't really consider that fast. I mean, they were coming up the court, and it was probably 2-on-1, and he stopped right in the middle of the paint for a jump shot, which doesn't really make any sense when you're trying to close this deficit of 10 points. So Michigan once again with the ball.
Donaldson has it, dribbles it up, goes right, back to Wolf, top of the key. Wolf goes through the lane, tries doing a little Euro step, and it's going to be a charging foul.
Yeah, Wolf dropped his shoulder there as he was going up for the layup. So it's a valid foul called on Wolf, but
yeah, no complaints from Wolf on that. He knew what he did, and it's now Washington has a chance to cut this lead down to single digits here with 16:06 left to go in the second half. Cheddar into the game for Michigan. King into it for the Huskies. As Gale picks up Diallo full court, hounding the ball carrier. Gale still on him. Ball's over to court right by the M logo. Swings it to the left wing. Back out to King. Diallo, court right, drives baseline on Cheddar. Nothing there. Still goes for it. Little scoop layup, no good. Burnett with the rebound as he turns, and the ball is off of Goldin's foot as Goldin was running for the fast break, and it's going to be Husky ball under Michigan's hoop.
yeah, I mean, Michigan has definitely had an issues all season with turnovers. They're ranked 16th nationally with 15.2 per game, which is a lot of turnovers considering how good that they are for like Big Ten rivalry. So it's not really something that as a Michigan fan you want to see from your team, but a lot of that comes from just the speed that they play at. You know, the hands, you just have butterfingers when you're trying to both push the ball, push your guys up the court, and capitalize on a play that is moving so quickly, beating the defense.
Yeah, and they have been better as of late, but the turnovers are a key issue. The turnovers, and really this team has had some cold streaks shooting the ball. Overall, they're shooting a healthy 38%, I believe, from downtown. But we've seen many games, the Oklahoma game to note, where they just really couldn't get the three ball going. But this team can always go inside. They're very capable of going inside and outside. And tonight, they're shooting 6 for 16 from three, so not too bad, but shooting a lot of them, 7 more than the Huskies here today. And a lot of that three-point shooting has come from Burnett, who is, I noted earlier in the broadcast, 4 for 4 from three and 6 for 6 total, shooting a perfect 100% from the field. 16 points for him.
No, Burnett is just a different breed. He just comes in and he totally dominates. You don't really see his hands on the ball as much as you would expect for the numbers that he has on the stat sheet today. But whenever he does get a chance, he really is calculated with his shots. The team puts together solid plays that keep the guys on the border for him to really use the entirety of the court and find that opening for the defense where we're a little lagging or hesitating.
Yeah, Burnett, not the flashiest player, but gets to his spots, takes the right shots, and makes the big ones. But 10-point game here, definitely not out of reach for Huskies. Again, this is Big Ten play. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And we'll just see. I think Michigan, if they want to pull away, they got to start playing fast. They haven't had many fast break points in the second half.
No.
When they went on that big run, it was quick passing, getting it up. Here, I think they've gotten a little bit more selfish, and that's why the lead's close to 10, but it still is 10. So you're not in panic mode. You just keep doing what you're doing, just play a little faster, and go back to your brand of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and like I mentioned at the start of our half, is Michigan plays very, very old school basketball, which is wonderful to see in the day and age of 3-point shots. You know, so seeing the guys in the post working together and finding open shots is definitely something that I think all fans love to see.
Diallo has the ball, drives right on Goldin. Goldin's presence forces the miss, but it's rebounded by the Huskies. Diallo with it, left wing. Back to Iheanacho, top of the key. Court right, shot from the wing, no good. Donaldson with the rebound. Donaldson looks to push it up. Top of the key, drives left, spins back. Nothing there, good defense, Iheanacho. Donaldson still has it by the free throw line, pivots, doesn't get the layup on the right side to go. The Huskies are back the other way with Court right. Court right, right wing. Takes a screen from Ibekwe. Court right, still with the ball at the free throw line. Dishes it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho, corner to King, left corner, wide open, air balls it. And Goldin corrals the rebound up to Gale on the right side. Gale is fouled by King on the wing as he looked to spin around King. Reach in on the floor.
No, it was definitely a little bit of a unorganized play in that last interaction with Washington on offense, because everybody was just crashed down low and nobody was really in their spot. And the only way, not the only, but the best way to really convert from, you know, just passing the ball around to actually getting a shot is to slow down, especially with the shot clock running, and find something calculated that is going to work.
Wolverines to inbound it by their own bench. Donaldson, top of the key. Huskies blitz the screen. Donaldson stays with it. Out to Goldin. Goldin, top of the three. His three-pointer, no good. Saw him hit one earlier today. As the Huskies come back, it's Iheanacho on the ball. Cheddar on him. Ball inside. Easwar on Donaldson. Big mismatch. Goldin comes to help. And Easwar throws the ball away, trying to get it down low to his other big man, Ibekwe.
Yeah, you almost have to feel a little bit of remorse for Easwar, because he transferred over from Utah State and he has just been trying to carry this team to a championship. But you know, 10-6 with Michigan coming 12-3 is difficult when you're traveling away and having to carry this team on your back.
Yeah, Easwar was one of the first big transfers where his NIL money was rumored and out there for the media. So this was a big transfer. The new coach for the Washington Huskies, Danny Sprinkle, and he came over from Utah State as well. A big recruit in Zoom Diallo, 5-star McDonald's All-American, actually played high school, the same high school as Namiri Burnett. Not the same time, but both attended Prolific Prep, one of the, I must say, prolific high school programs. As Donaldson has the ball back on the right wing. Over to Cheddar, top of the key. Cheddar to Gale, left wing. Gale with it. Ibekwe on him. Gale drives. No good on the right side. Quickly back the other way for the Huskies. As it is Mason with the tough layup. Doesn't get it to go, but is fouled on the play. And he will head to the line to cut this lead down to single digits.
Yeah, there was a down on the other side when Michigan was on offense. I love watching Will Cheddar play. I don't know if you feel the same way, but he's just such a dynamic player. He has so much to his game. He was passing in the jump shot, cuts to the corner, and then makes his way around. You just don't know where he's going to be at any point in the court, which I think can be said about a couple of the guys on Michigan, but specifically Cheddar, considering this isn't also he's returning. He's a senior coming back on the team, so love watching him play.
First free throw is good, and second is as well, as the Huskies cut the Wolverines' lead down to 8 with 13:43 left in the second half here. Donaldson with the ball by half court. Over to Reuben Jones. Back to Donaldson. Goldin screens. Jones. Cheddar right corner. It's good. Will Cheddar with the 3. Wolverines up 11. Diallo with the ball half court. Directing the traffic. Ball swinging over. Mason. Pull up. Dances around the rim. No good. Goldin with the ball. Dishes it out to Donaldson. Donaldson back to Goldin. Goldin with a carry as he tried to fake the handoff to Donaldson.
Now we see Washington definitely pushing up their press. They don't let Michigan have any sort of room to breathe past the half court line. Each one of the of Michigan's players are kind of just thrown in your face with a Washington defender. So they're giving them no room to breathe and doing actually a very decent job at closing up this deficit.
Court right with the ball, top of the key, looking for something. Donaldson not letting him have anything. Donaldson still there. Court right throws up the wild layup, no good. Diallo with the rebound. It's kicked out to Osborne. Another offensive rebound for the Huskies. 12:25 on the clock. Diallo back with it. This time Jones on him. The switch. Diallo with the mid-range, no good. Rebound, Cheddar. Donaldson to push it. Donaldson inbounds into Goldin on the fast break. And that is a wide open layup for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Goldin has definitely been kind of sitting within the paint, doing what he needs to down low, keeping Easwar in check. So, but seeing him score is just awesome when he gets his hands on the ball for those few dunks and layups.
Court right drives, gets the float to go. That was Washington's first field goal in the last 5 minutes, so a bit of a scoring drought there for them. As pass inside to Goldin, gets the wild layup to go. Great touch around the rim for the big fella out of Russia. Diallo back the other way. Burnett on him. Diallo still with it, drives right, shoulder into Burnett. Burnett goes down, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Burnett.
Yeah, Burnett is doing everything that he can to pick up that charge. That's not the first time that we've seen him do that today. He did that about twice in the first half, and then this first time in the second half that he's tried to pick up that charge. But he's doing what he can to collect the points down here today. But unfortunately, it just didn't convert.
Yeah, good attempt there. Unfortunately, doesn't get it to go. But this Wolverines defense has been very stout this second half, allowing not many points, under 10 so far for the Huskies this half. And the Wolverines are keeping their scoring up as they look to grow this lead back up to 13.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan has been definitely keeping the ball moving with what they can do, because Washington has been keeping up the press half court while tightening up their defense against Michigan. So not giving them any really room to set up a play or breathe. Considering every time Michigan does have the ball, they crash down low, putting so much pressure on Goldin and Wolf that whenever you have a player like Cheddar who is able to kind of spread out the court and use all his bank of skills, you see him on the free throw line, you see him on the three-point line, you see him shooting a floater. So I think that they're just going to have to keep slowing it down, because like you said, this game is going by very, very quickly with not much scoring, and Michigan does have a history of turnovers. So being able to kind of slow down the pace while putting pressure on Washington when they have the ball is going to be the way that this kind of opens up the gap of this deficit and leaves Washington from answering almost every single score, every single point that Michigan gets on the board.
Yeah, we'll see how Michigan approaches this last 11 minutes in this second half. They're used to just kind of outscoring teams very heavily here in the second half. So we'll see. We saw the big win against UCLA in their last outing, and it was around here where UCLA started to make it a game, but then Michigan kind of flipped the switch and took it away from them. We'll see if something similar is happening here. Obviously a bigger lead for the Wolverines right now, but this is a game that they should win. This is a game that they should blow out their opponents. The Huskies, not one of the best teams in the Big Ten this year. Michigan has goals to win it. They have goals in March, and this is one of the games where they really have to be successful, and they have to keep growing this lead and show that they can play good, consistent basketball and beat who they need to beat.
No, I agree. Michigan is definitely it's safe to say that they're off of their rebuilding track. You know, Dusty May came in. He brought 5 transfers, including Wolf and Goldin, to Ann Arbor. So Dusty May came here to win. And he just brought in Oscar Goodman, too, from New Zealand, another forward. So piling in the talent underneath the basket is the best way to win the national championship this year. I mean, there's really not much else to say with the ambition that May has for this team. You know, with Juwan Howard leaving kind of a mess behind him when he left. So it's this Washington team is going to be one that needs to get out of the way for Michigan to continue in their journey.
As Diallo gets the inbound and goes up, gets an and one for the Huskies. Quick basket there, cuts the lead down to 11 with 11 to go, and he'll have a chance for one more point here at the free throw line. Diallo, 2 dribbles. It's up and it's no good as he can't get his 12th points of the game. Donaldson back the other way. Zone look here by the Huskies. Looks to be a little 2-3. As Jones on the right wing looks for a pass. Donaldson left wing. Back over. Wolf right baseline. Has Osabor on him. Skip pass. Walters in the corner. It's good. Sam Walters, 4-3. Started off the season not too hot. Has had spurts where we've really seen him be able to shoot the ball well. And today, he's hit 2. As Osabor back the other way. Good move in the post there. Gets the layup on the left side to go. Donaldson with it. Over to Jones. Huskies still in the zone. Jones and Donaldson playing hot potato with it. Wolf at the top. Cuts inside. Wolf dishes it down to Cheddar. Great pass to the interior, and Cheddar gets the right-handed layup to go off the Wolf assist.
Yeah, it looked like Michigan had a plan in that last play set, so it definitely worked in their favor.
The three-pointer is up for Harris, and it's no good. Reuben Jones the other way for the Wolverines. Jones, right wing, three-point shot. No good. Ball gets batted around. Offensive rebound, Wolf. Jones drives right, and it's swatted away by Tyler Harris for Washington. It's Mason. Diallo for the Huskies. Foul on the ground by Reuben Jones.
Yeah, you can tell Michigan is definitely playing their heart out for this game. They know what's at stake, and these guys are huffing and puffing, trying to keep this lead. I mean, the lead's looking a lot more comforting as a Michigan fan than it did before. But you know, with Washington on the line, with Diallo looking to shoot 2, you never really know in basketball.
Yeah, game's definitely not out of reach yet. It is 14. Diallo has a chance to cut it to 12. First free throw is good of the 1-and-1 as the Huskies are in the bonus. crowd gets loud. Diallo's second. Nothing but net as they cut the lead to 12 with 9:20 to go here in this second half. Michigan back the other way. Donaldson by the block M at half court. Takes a screen from Goldin. Still Donaldson. Walters with it. Walters looks for a pass. It's Wolf. Wolf drives left. Met by Brackenbach. Walters, right corner. It's good again. Sam Walters with his coming out party. 3 for 4 from deep. 9 points for him as the Wolverines stretch to their biggest lead of the game at 15. Mason a three-pointer for the Huskies to silence the crowd, and it's good. Huskies bring it back down to 12. Walters again, right corner. No good, but he is fouled, and a chance for 3 points the hard way at the line.
Yeah, Sam Walters is actually one of the 11 newcomers to Michigan off of their brand new roster with Dusty May. So he's actually a lefty, which is very funny to think, considering that he is a spot up threat. So he's shooting, I believe, 3 on this line.
First one is no good. Yeah, Walters, the transfer from Alabama, a 4-star recruit out of high school. Didn't get much playing time at Alabama. Dusty said, come over here, we'll give you a chance. And Walters seems to be seizing the moment here as he's up to 10 points already. One more free throw to go out of the 3.
Yeah, he's well above his game average of 5.5. So it's nice to see the young blood of this team getting their reps in before March.
Walters gets his third to go. 2 for 3 from the line for Walters as the lead's back to 14. Michigan with a zone look here. Looks to be a little bit of a 2-3 as Easwar with the ball. Little floaters, no good. Wolf gets it. Wolf dribbles it up himself. The 7-footer comes downhill. Decides to stop and pop on the right wing. It's good. Danny Wolf with the big shot as Michigan extends the lead to 17 with 8 minutes left in this second half.
Yeah, it's seeing Wolf take the ball down the court is just another testament to how large the skill range is for each player on this team. You don't normally see a center who is 7 foot taking the ball up the court for the spot shot. You know, it's kind of funny to see, but Dusty May recognizes the talent that he has on his team and uses it, kind of lets these guys have a little bit of creative freedom when the ball is just has a lot of momentum. So it's always fun to see. You know, he's not the only one on this team that has that dynamic skill set, and that is, I think, with 8 minutes left, what brought this deficit to 17 points.
Yeah, and that puts 5 Wolverines in double figures. The only one in the starting lineup not in double figures is Donaldson, who had his big game last game with 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stat sheet and 4 out of 5 of your biggest players are in the double digits, it's hard for the defense to recognize who's the most important guy to cover. Who do you put 2 men on? Who do you leave open in the help defense? You know, just those are the things that the communication needs to recognize and figure out early, because otherwise you're going to be leaving a spot shooter open. You're going to be leaving a big man open who can also shoot a 3-point shot. You're going to be leaving the guard who can also play post underneath the basket. So it's hard to tell, and that's where the coaching staff of Washington has to kind of come up with these plays and doesn't have the same creative freedom that Michigan does when they can just let Danny Wolf run down the court, stop at the 3-point line, and shoot a free 3-pointer.
Yeah, this team is very dangerous. They have many scorers, and they have scorers that score in many different ways. We've seen it when Michigan goes cold from deep. They just go inside, and when inside's not working, they're not afraid to shoot this ball. And today we've really seen it, the inside out by Michigan, shooting 45% from the 3-point line, 60% overall, and they're just scoring 77 points with 8 minutes left in this second half.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to watch about Dusty May is that even if there is a play that does work consistently, he will never run it more than twice. he never lets the defense become familiar with what their offense is going to run. So he'll show it twice, and then he'll move it to the second half, and he'll run it a couple times through and just switch up the plays completely different and give these guys the ability to read the defense and work together as a team rather than just scribbling out a play and saying, run this, even if the defense doesn't match it.
Diallo brings it up for the Huskies. Wolverines back in their 2-3 zone. Pippen in the game for Michigan. Ball inside to Osabor. Little baby hook shot, doesn't get it to go. Wolf with the rebound again. Wolf pushes it up. As it's going to be an off-ball foul on Breidenbach, looking to stop Goldin from getting position.
Yeah, it just comes one of those things where it's like you have this 7-foot guy taking the ball up the court. How do you stop him? You know, it's not something that they're used to seeing. So how do you stop the center from either driving it in or from out of their familiarity shooting the three-point shot?
Yeah, and that was Breidenbach's 5th personal foul, so he's out of this game. The student section waved goodbye to him.
Yeah, I did recognize Breidenbach a little bit in this game. One of the things that, even though he did pick up all these fouls, I want to say he was picking them up because you would watch him, and he was always there on help defense. He never, even if one of his teammates kind of hesitated a little to get to help, he never failed to put his hand in front of the ball. And, you know, many people will be like, oh, well, he should be a little bit more weary about his hands and putting them straight up. But it's hard to stop these big guys when you're the only one trying to stop the drive when everybody else kind of turned their bodies and said, oh, I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah, you could definitely tell head coach Danny Sprinkle asked a lot of him this game, obviously defending Wolf and Goldin. And those 5 personal fouls, he's out of this game, but still 7 points above his average on the season. And not a bad game for him, just wasn't able to hang completely with Michigan's dynamic and dominant big men.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when half of Michigan's roster is above 6'5", you know.
Very hard indeed. As it's 17, Michigan's biggest lead of the game. 7:45 to go here in the second half at Crisler on this Sunday afternoon.
Another electric day in Crisler Center. You know, an afternoon game, which isn't really, we don't really see much of those for men's basketball, Big Ten play, but it's a great way to spend your Sunday, get rid of the Sunday scaries. So.
Yeah, and one of their 3 sold-out games so far this season at home. Dusty May said at the beginning of the year, he saw the attendance at the early games. He said, just wait. In a couple more games, this stadium will be packed, and it is.
And it is. I was trying to find tickets today for some family members to come and watch, and everything was sold out. Every single ticket, which from the looks of it today, Crisler Center is packed.
Both teams take the floor. It's going to be Mason, Osabor, Diallo, Courtright, and Ibekwe for the Huskies, and Wolf, Pippen, Jones, Walters, and Goldin for the Wolverines, as Goldin's at the line shooting a 1-and-1. 2 dribbles, shots up, good.
Yeah, definitely a lot of scrappy play in the last 10 minutes of this game, considering both teams are now in bonus.
Goldin looks to extend Michigan's lead to 19 with this free throw, and it's good again. Great shooting here today by Goldin. 4 for 5 from the line and 1 for 2 from deep. His only missed shot of the game was 1 3-pointer. It's over to Courtright for the Huskies. 3-pointer, doesn't get it to fall. Jones back with it for the Wolverines. Takes a screen from Goldin. Over Walters, left wing. Another one, no good. But Wolf attacks the glass hard. Ball's batted around. Back to Mason of the Huskies. Mason throws it up to Courtright. Tough time with the ball. Passes it away into Osabor. Huskies stick with the ball. Mason, open 3, top of the key. It's good. Huskies cut the lead down to 13 as It is now under 7 minutes to go in this game. Wolf right wing with the ball. Step back, three-point shot. No good off the front rim. Mason back the other way. Easwar. Little hook shot over the top, no good. Pippen with it for Michigan, back the other way. A lot of back and forth here, a lot of missed shots. Jones back to Pippen, holds it. Goldin top of the key, inside to Pippen. Pippen back to Walters where he missed it. Misses again. No good for Walters. Court right, back with it the other way for Washington. Jones on him, tough battle inside. Court right, over to Easwar. His three-point shot, no good. Not known for his three-pointers, but he was open and decided to take it. Jones at the top. Michigan running an offensive set for Pippen. Open shot for him, and it's good. Three-pointer for Justin Pippen, the freshman out of Sierra Canyon in California. Diallo with it. Over to Easwar. Free throw line. Easwar. Many Michigan defenders around him. Ball gets swung around. Mason, another one. Gets it to go. Three-point shot for the Huskies. Lead is down to 16. 5:20 to go in the second half. Wolf with it. Right baseline. Takes it back towards the center. Again, goes back down to the right block. One-on-one with a Beckway. Little fade away hook, no good. Ball gets batted to Goldin, and he is fouled going up for the dunk attempt.
Yeah, Goldin is just every time I look down to the court, he's just hands on his knees. He's getting beat up and bruised and battered down there. So for him to just take a rest and put 2 points on the board, you know, after a hard-fought battle of Washington on them, it's nice to see him just take a breath.
Just Goldin's first free throw is no good. Front rim right back to him. As some of the starters for Michigan are coming into the game. Gale, Burnett, and Donaldson for Pippen, Walters, and Wolf will take a breath. 5:03 left in this second half. 16-point lead. Goldin trying to make it 17 here today. It's good for Goldin. It's Mason for the Huskies. Mason with 13 off the bench here today. Donaldson on him. Burnett switches. Over to King for the Huskies. Back into Easwar. Goldin on him. Easwar spins and loses it out of bounds. Michigan ball.
Yeah, that was good on Goldin. He did not pick up a foul on there, which was is kind of beneficial considering that the score is a little bit stretched, but not enough to be comfortable.
Donaldson takes a screen from Goldin. Over to Burnett. Burnett inside. Goldin just floats it right over Easwar. Easwar didn't close out hard enough, and Goldin's like, I'll just take this right here, and gets it to go for his 19th point of the game. Easwar with a three for the Huskies is good. The big man gets it to go.
Yeah, he saw that one right from the top of the key and said, that one's mine.
Yeah, shooting 14% from three-point line for Easwar, but gets that one to go. As Michigan comes back the other way, and Donaldson draws a foul.
Yeah, I have to say Michigan has been really, really heavy on this press, not letting any kind of fast break happen for the Huskies. Even since the minute that the Huskies touch the ball on Michigan on their own side, it's a challenge to get to the other side for even an attempt at a shot.
Donaldson's first free throw is no good. The Wolverines shooting just under 70% from the free throw line here today. Donaldson, the only starter for Michigan not in double figures, as he misses the second. A rough shooting game for Donaldson, coming off of his best game of his career, really, against UCLA. Diallo with it for the Huskies. Goes right, fakes a pass, makes a pass. Swung back to Mason, another three, no good for him. Back to Mason. Mason drives baseline, kicks out to King. King doesn't get it to go. A rebound by Mason again, and the ball's poked away, but it's going to be out of bounds and stay with the Huskies.
No, they had the Huskies had great ball movement in that last play, but you know, they're trying to find something that's not there. Their entire play in those last 25 seconds were just kick the ball out, get the three-point shot, get the rebound, and try again. You need to set something up, and even if they're assume that they don't have time, you can always figure something out to break a tired defense. Michigan is gassed. They're exhausted. These guys have been playing. Wolf has played 22 minutes. Donaldson has played 31. You know, these guys are. Goldin has played 26. Like, they're getting tired. So figuring it out and getting their feet set for the three-point shot, like Easwar did about 2 minutes ago, is the way that they're going to have to get these points, or they're going to have to set up and use Easwar down low. But just kicking it out and hoping for the best when you shoot the three is not the way to break up this Michigan defense.
Yeah. 3:35 left in the second half. It is getting to that time for the Huskies where they will have to take these threes, but not yet, as Michigan looks to stretch this lead. It's at 16 right now. If they keep it around here for the next minute, I would say we start to see some of the walk-ons, some of the players that don't get too much time on each of these teams.
Yeah, we're going to have to see at least Washington taking some set foot shots and not desperate shots, because as soon as the desperate shots start coming up, then it's all downhill snowballs from there.
It's a good point, as we have the under 4 timeout. Both teams huddling up. Leading scorer for Michigan is Goldin with 19. Easwar with 21 for the Huskies. And Goldin 7 rebounds, 3 away from a double-double. See if he gets that tonight.
You know, I'm surprised Washington hasn't played Mason more than just 13 minutes in this half, because he's scoring the same as Diallo, who's been playing for almost the entirety of the game. So maybe incorporating him more into the defense would be probably more beneficial than just having him run up and down the court.
Yeah, Mason averages 8 points on the season, has started a few games, around 20 minutes per game for him. He's scoring the ball very well here today. Has hit 3 3-pointers, 4 free throws for him, as Diallo's trying to inbound the ball, and it's a foul on Michigan. That's going to send 9. It's going to be Christian King, the redshirt freshman. First free throw is good. Lead down to 15, 3:35 still left here in this second half. Second one for King is good. Michigan comes back with Donaldson. Mason on him. Donaldson dribbles it out. Easwar tries to double Donaldson, but picks up a reach-in foul, and that's going to send Donaldson to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see Washington putting in some of their younger guys now. The redshirt freshman Christian King is actually the son of Rich King, who was selected by the Seattle Supersonics 14th overall in the 1991 NBA draft. So had a little bit of a generational basketball family going on right now.
Donaldson does not hit the first free throw. Again, a rough shooting day for him. 0 for 3 from the line. See if he hits this next one. 2 dribbles, spins it, puts it up. No good again. 0 for 4 on the day. Donaldson will definitely be practicing those free throws in the facility after this one, as Michigan rips the ball away from Easwar. Gale the other way. Over to Donaldson, left corner. Air balls. Rebound Michigan. Wolf has it. Over to Jones. Jones fakes the three, drives, kicks it out, tipped away. It's going to stay Michigan ball. And now you get to the point where you kind of just want to waste some time for Michigan. We saw Wolf had an open shot at the top of the key, decided not to take it, as Michigan's going to burn this clock a little bit. Up 14. Don't really need to do too much here. Wolf with the ball. Easwar reaches in and fouls Wolf. 2 quick fouls for Easwar is going to give Michigan more free throws, up 14 already.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this point of the game, it's just a matter of stopping the clock and getting your hands on the ball. But when both teams are in the bonus, it's kind of difficult. Michigan is going to kind of keep their hands off of Washington, while I think Washington is going to be taking the chances and putting their hands on those guys to get a little bit more stopping of the clock.
As Wolf hits his first free throw. 2:58 to go in the second half. Wolverines at 12-3 up on the 10-5 Huskies. As the Wolverines look to improve and get one more win here in Big Ten play. Undefeated already. Mason with the ball. Drives left, stops, pops, mid-range. Can't get it to fall. Donaldson with the rebound as the clock ticks. 2:35 left in the second half. Michigan up 15 here in Crisler Center. Ball's over to Wolf on the wing. Pass inside to Gale. Gale gets King in the air, and King falls over the top of Gale as he throws up the layup. It's going to be a foul on King. 2:28 here left. Gale heads to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, Gale with 11 points on the game today. 4 for 7 field goal range, so getting a couple more in the basket hopefully to secure the win for Michigan.
As the first is good. 87-71 as we start to see some Michigan fans exit Crisler, trying to beat the traffic. They think this one's over. Is Gale about to take his second free throw.
It's never over till it's over.
It's up. It's good. 88-71. Michigan, largest lead of the game. Diallo brings it back for the Huskies. Over to King. Christian King decides to fake a three. Little hesitant there. He drives left and is fouled. He's going to head to the free throw line. Again, in that bonus, both teams. It's going to be a 1-and-1 for Christian King. His first free throw rattles in. 16-point game now. Both coaches haven't gone to their walk-ons, their players that don't play yet. Still trying to win this game as the second one is up and good for the Huskies. Donaldson brings it back. Donaldson between the legs, over to Wolf right wing. Wolf between his legs, backs down to Bueke. Wolf drives baseline, dishes it down to Burnett, and Wolf comes down hobbling as Washington goes the other way. But the main concern for Michigan is Wolf right now as he went down, gets back up, looks to be just a little roll of the ankle. Nothing too serious, but May's going to make sure. Wolf's going to stay in the game. Looks to be all right.
Yeah, Michigan being just a little bit sloppy on their offense. I think they're just trying to close out this game. But, you know, sloppiness causes turnovers, and the more turnovers you get, the harder it is to secure your win and keep the lead.
1:40 left here in the game. Starters in for both teams. Wolf takes a three at the top of the key. No good for him. Zoom Diallo back the other way. And Zoom doesn't get it to go, but the follow by Easwar goes. Lead down to 13. 1:20 left in the second half. Gale with it. By the block M at center court. Gale just looking to dribble it out. Not too much pressure there by Tyler Harris. As Gale just drives by him, throws it up to Reuben Jones. Looked like a lob, but Jones just comes down with it and kicks it out. Donaldson by the free throw line. Has Easwar on him, wants to go one-on-one. Step back three. No good. Wolf with a strong rebound. Back to Jones. And the Wolverines are going to burn a little bit more clock. As the crowd gets on their feet, they can feel this win coming. 40 seconds to go. Gale with the ball. Easwar on him. Gale skips right by him. Puts it up. Looks like it's going to be on the floor. Not going to matter too much. As Gale goes to the line. 2 free throws, up 13 with 39 seconds to go. Cheddar into the game for Wolf. Gale takes a dribble, takes another one. First free throw is good for Gale. Gale up to 14 points on the day. 6 for 6 from the free throw line. See if he can go perfect here today. His second one is up and good. 90-75 Wolverines. 39 seconds here left as Diallo takes the ball back for the Huskies. Spins, loses the ball. Walters gets it and is fouled going for it. King kind of undercut him there, and Walters fell over the top. Walters now will head to the line for 2.
Yeah, we're coming back to a lot of time on the free throw line, which, like I mentioned before, is probably going to be Washington's tactic to try desperately to get a couple, just get the clock to stop and hopefully get some attempts. But with Michigan at 70% at the free throw line, you know, this entire game is going down to 67.7 now after Walters just missed his first one. But it's almost a toss-up of what you want to risk. Michigan has been dominating at the free throw line, and we'll see if Washington can at least close it to make this game a little bit more respectable.
As it's no good. 3-pointer for the Huskies, and the Wolverines are just going to dribble it out as all of Crisler is on its feet as Michigan gets the big Big Ten win by 16 points as they'll improve to 13-3 overall, 5-0 in the Big Ten, one of the only undefeated teams left in the Big Ten, as the Huskies will go to 10-6 with a 1-4 conference record.
Yeah, I mean, having Michigan after being 5-0 in Big Ten matchups, considering the seasons that they've had in the previous years underneath Juwan Howard, it's definitely refreshing, I'm sure, for a Michigan fan to feel like we're not only dominating in football, or at least were, to now have another team to root for that is dominating in Big Ten. So this was definitely a very exciting game today. Thank you all so much for listening. It was my pleasure calling today. It was actually my very last men's basketball game of my broadcasting career with WCBN. So I really appreciate you guys listening in.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.
Go Blue.